So many coaches, players, and teams that played starring roles along with Jordan in these Bulls teams. Jeff Van Gundy, coach of the Knicks during the middle of all of this. And Jeff Van Gundy joins us now by phone. And, Coach, I appreciate you taking the time. I read where you talked about how difficult it is to win 4 games against anybody in a playoff series. Specific to Jordan and his Bulls teams, how hard was it to get to that third and then ultimately the fourth?
Yeah, it was obviously, particularly with the Bulls, it was incredibly hard. I think people, when they think of the Bulls, they think of the greatness of Jordan first, the triangle offense. But I think what's left out of the whole thing was they were a tremendous defensive team, and they had great overall size.
Jeff, I read some really interesting comments you had about your counterpart in Phil Jackson, and I wrote something on the show recently about him that it's real easy to say, well, he had Jordan and Pippen, he had Shaq and Kobe. Yeah, he did. But as a guy who's done it, you've done it, trying to figure out how all the pieces fit, what kind of a level of respect did you earn for him through the years?
Well, I always had great respect for his coaching. I thought he paced his team correctly, both physically and mentally. I thought he had some, probably some very challenging egos to deal with and some situations that never are brought to light. Everybody, when you talk about Phil Jackson, talks about triangle and zen and all of this, but I think they forget he's a fierce competitor, and he was a very good overall coach, defense, offense, rebounding, and how he dealt with each and every obstacle that got in their way.
Jeff, I have just one final thought. In so many conversations that try to spread from one era to the other, they just dissolve into yelling about whatever era you're from. You coach then, you broadcast now, so I think you have as good an idea of what it was and what is as anyone. I just wonder, who, if anyone now, is wired to hold a grudge and use it as fuel the way Michael Jordan did then?
I don't know if the player is the same in that way. I think it's different, but I do think all of that, he used every slight. I think that was also way overblown.
Listen,
totally.
But when if you watch him now, Jeff, it's like someone compared Clyde Drexler to him, and he wants to crush Clyde Drexler. The audacity of that.
No, the ego is still there, but that's not why he was great.
Sure.
I mean, he didn't need any motivation. The great ones are so supremely self-motivated. I think it makes up a good story. I think it becomes mythologized, but I think if you look at every game he scored 50, 60, it wasn't because of slights. It was because of incredible athleticism, basketball intelligence, which is not talked about nearly enough with Jordan, and an efficiency in both shot selection and shot making that, to me, on the perimeter, there is second to none. I think what has to be understood about the truly, truly greats, there's no speech. It is a drive deep inside and a skill level. A lot of guys have drive without the skill level, and some have skill level without drive, but when you have both and you have elite athleticism, you come up with a once-in-a-generation talent like Jordan, and if you weren't on the other side, it was easy to appreciate.
Well, you had a much better seat than I did, Jeff. I certainly appreciate your context that I do not have. Thank you so much for sharing it with us here. Appreciate you, man. Be well. Stay safe, okay?
You too, Scott. Take care.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.